Hello, this is Jeff, and I am with Jan. So this is Jeff and Jan, or Jan and Jeff. We say Jan and Jeff, right,
Yeah,
Jan?
and Jeff. Yeah, it's good, like the old cartoon Mutt and Jeff.
Mutt and Jeff.
Anyway,
Yes, I didn't know
oh,
about that until you told me
I,
about it.
yeah, I guess I'm the Mutt.
Yeah, well, no comment, no comment.
Okay, no comment. Um,
Do do you know what is happening this weekend? There are three things in France that are happening this weekend. Do you know what they are?
well, I know of one that I was going to mention, but I don't know if anybody else really knows about it. So I'll let you go first because mine's.
Though
I
the
don't.
first is there's the daylight savings time.
I know about that. So it's a good thing because I wasn't thinking about it, but I do know about it.
We lose an hour, but we gain an hour of light.
Right, it's spring ahead, fall back.
Exactly, exactly. So we got it. So this is we're recording this in late March.
Yep.
So we have to in France. And it's always in America they changed it a little bit, but in France it's European. They do it late March and late October.
Yeah.
And the other one is that baseball season starts in France this weekend.
Oh my God, do they have a baseball team?
There's a baseball league.
Wow. See, I mean, years ago when I showed up, people would bring baseball bats, and my son had a baseball glove here, but, nobody was playing it. And so I haven't followed it. My kid is, grown and out of the house. But so there is a baseball league.
There's a,
Wow.
it's not. You can't really say it's professional. They might have some people that are get some money. Yeah, no, they do. There's an article about it. I'm going to try to find it and put it on here. Is that
Okay.
they do? I believe they do a double header on like it's either Saturday or Sunday. They do one. It's only two games a week though, but they do a double header on the weekends, as I understand it. And I was looking. I don't know how many teams there are. I should have looked and said how many teams
Hmm.
there are. But it's really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. There's a league where I live. There's actually there's actually a club for children. For I think it goes from like 6
Okay.
to 18 or something.
Wow. Okay. Well, so in parentheses, just before you mention the third thing, I'll just tell you, since we spent a couple years in the States and now that we're back, I've heard that there's another American couple here. Well,
Oh,
there's a young American that married a French woman, and then his parents came over. And I think I kind of know where they live. I mean, I'm in a really small village, town, but I have seen this truck that says American football on it
really?
a couple times in town, and I've been meaning to like flag them down and say, "Wait, tell me what that's all about." And I haven't seen it in a while, so maybe we'll be, mentioning American football here coming up soon. I'll keep you posted on that. It's a
They
big
have.
band that says American football on it.
There is actually an American professional league in France.
Football.
American Football Professional League. Where I live, near where I live, there's Tunnel. It's the Black Panthers, I believe, and they were actually champions. And they actually have American football players. They don't play for very long. I mean, it's a very short
Right.
season. And there's a semi-professional club where I live also. And I
Okay.
saw part of a game. It was really, you just walk up and they're playing, and it's
Wow.
really interesting.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
think.
right. Well, as soon as if I can ever flag this truck down and get some more information, I'll let you know because maybe they're taking it big time. And
Yeah, no, there was one in there's another who contacted me somebody contacted me and they wanted me to mention them on my website and I did. And they were in the south of France. It was a American football team. And I there's
oh, okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting. You wouldn't think about it, but yeah, they say
yeah.
football American and they.
I think that's great. I mean, we took soccer over
We
to
took
the
soccer, right?
States,
Exactly, and
and David took David Beckham with us.
that's right. We took David Beckham.
Threw him back to the fish, but anyway.
Anyway, yeah. And well, actually, there's two more events I want to talk about.
Okay.
The next one is the elections. There's
All right.
you've probably seen, anybody who's in France has probably walked past the public space that each candidates or candidate
Yeah.
candidates get. You get these in the village. It's really kind of interesting the way it is in France. Everybody has their space to put their posters up, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Departmental elections, and what I think is very interesting about this one is that the departments are divided up into cantons, or cantons,
Right.
and they're represented by a pair, and it's a male-female pair of people, two candidates. Two will be elected to office, and that way they have the parity of the women and 50-50 men-women.
Yeah, but this is the first time they've done this.
It's the first time they've done it, yeah.
This is
they
new.
tried to do, in the past, there's parties have to run a certain amount of candidates, usually women. They have to have the sexes have to be, but usually 25%. But this is gonna, it'll be 50%. Women elected, and in the last the municipal elections they did the same thing. So you had a list. That's a list system, and it was the same idea. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, it's one way. Yeah. But what also is interesting, I thought, because where I live, is the way to get elected. If you get elected, it's a 2-round system. It is a bit complicated.
It is.
To be elected, it gets a bit complicated. To be elected in the first round, you of course have to have at least 50% of the votes plus one, so whatever, 50% plus one. Plus, you have to have 25% of the registered voters, and a number of votes that is greater or equal to the number of registered voters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what happened where I live, the pair, this candidate pair, they got 53% of the votes, so they should be elected. But no, there's a second round. We have a second round on Sunday.
Right.
50% of the vote, but they didn't get elected. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I know, and like I say, I don't mean to toot that I've been here that long. In fact, I shouldn't, because they'd probably think, go home. But after all these years, it just seems so complicated to me. I don't get it. And I think what's really hard to understand is the mentality of it. That's what I don't get. It's almost like they fool themselves and they believe it. And I'm like, well, why? The second tour, so there's this Nini thing going on, which is really, I mean, we don't even want to bother the listeners with that, if anybody's even listening. But it just, it's like before the first tour, they already start talking who they're going to vote for if so-and-so loses in the first tour for the second tour.
Yeah, round,
right.
Yeah, because the system it's a 2-round system, which is an interesting way to do it. So you have to.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of a silly political game.
Well, I think it's the way the French they regulate to make it equal. Yeah. They want equality.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's very difficult to actually do.
Right. But there's this whole mentality behind it, and who they're going to vote for if so and so doesn't go through the first round, and I mean, it's a complexity in their system that shows in their thinking.
Yeah, I know. I think it represents. I think the system represents the people as much as we want.
Yeah.
But I remember one time, a French person in America, they wanted to know what a caucus was. The caucusing, and you have in Iowa, and they want like, what's a caucus, man? You're gonna tell me what a caucus is? And somebody explained. Somebody actually knew what one was, and they could explain what it was, and they explained how it worked. It was kind of interesting, but the guy was like, "What's a caucus? How does this vote?" It's very interesting.
No,
anyway.
it's true. We do have things in our system that take a while.
We all have our idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I think is not real. I'm gonna say it's an event, but it's a television show, and maybe you've seen it. J'irai dormir chez vous. Dormir.
Yeah.
And the guy who does it, basically, it's this French guy who travels all over the world. Yeah. His idea is to meet local people and to sleep in their house. And he has a camera. He walks around with his camera. He's got 2 cameras. Or more. He has 2 cameras on him, and then he sometimes will have like a webcam type thing. and he's going to do it live this weekend. He's going to do live this weekend.
But where from?
We don't know where.
Oh, okay.
And it'll be on television live.
Oh, okay. Because no, I have seen the show. I've seen it quite a few times, and but I didn't. I guess it would be recorded because then he transfers it to France, wherever he is in the world, and they put it on.
Yeah, it's really interesting. He's gone to America a few times too.
Yeah, I've seen him in California.
Yeah, it was in California. It was really funny. He went to Eureka. I remember he went to Eureka.
Yeah, I've seen him in California.
Eureka and San Francisco. He's in San Francisco. I thought that was really fun. He was walking around San Francisco, and all of a sudden these people that are naked riding bikes go up to him or drive right by him, and he always talks to people.
Yeah.
He says, you're riding the bike and you're naked, and the guy goes, so what?
Yeah. It's kind of, he's made a good show for himself. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah, he's done a really good show. All right. Well, those are the events.
Okay. Those are great things to know about. And I have one also. Remember a couple of weeks ago I mentioned a painter called Pierre Bonnard, and I'll send you his exact name. Pierre Bonnard was he's considered an impressionist, but he's not known really as an impressionist. And I think he kind of came in at the tail end. But when you look at his paintings, you can kind of, relate that type of painting to the impressionist. His name is Pierre Bonnard, and he's from that era pretty much. But Pierre Bonnard, and I mentioned him a while ago, I don't know why, because I know his petite niece here when I was working in a village. Yeah, I was working.
It would be his great niece.
I don't know if it's his great niece. It would be his petite niece. So Pierre Bonnard's sister married a guy named Claude Terrace. And Claude Terrace had a brother named Charles.
Okay, so it's
and this is Charles' daughter.
Okay, all right,
But so anyway, here's the interesting thing, and I mentioned him. I don't know why, because I need to get back in touch with her, and because Pierre Bonnard gave her this house when she was 16 in this really picturesque, well-known village down here. It's classified one of the prettiest villages in France. I think there's 100, and it's right down here. And I worked in the tourist office for a season there. But what happened was I keep seeing all this information on the TV about Pierre Bonnard. So I thought I should get in touch with her and find out if she's still alive.
What's up?
And, find out what's going on. But the interesting thing is that then I saw this whole show on Pierre Bonnard, and they're talking about him. The Musée d'Orsay has an expo on all of his paintings that's happening. It started March 17th, and I don't know if it goes to July. I'd have to look up the dates again. But so I got kind of interested. Why all of a sudden are we hearing so much about Pierre Bonnard? So when I Googled it, I found out that I guess it would be one of her brother who kind of inherited a large part of, or was in charge of a lot of his paintings and drawings and whatnot. They're going up for auction this weekend.
Okay.
All this Pierre Bonnard stuff is for auction Saturday and Sunday. It's at an auction house called Orsnay, and I'll find that, and you can put it on your website if anybody wants it, because it's not. He fought this auction house, fought tooth and nail to get Bonnard's stuff, because he knew Charles, and he knew Claude, and they were all from Fontainebleau, so it's in Fontainebleau. And so it's not Christie's or any one of those auction houses. The prices I kind of checked out. There's some that are kind of reasonable, and that happens Saturday and Sunday. So he was a great artist. The lighting in his paintings is just
really
fabulous. I mean, it was just beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So. So yeah, there's a big auction in Fontainebleau for anybody that lives up in the Paris area, And you can actually bid online. But,
Okay, interesting.
yeah, but I'll send you, once we hang up, I'll send you the thing. And which brings me to another topic, which we won't discuss today, but succession and why people should know about how the laws and succession laws work here. Because in reading more about the whole thing, then I started kind of going a bit further. Pierre Bonnard married this woman, Marthe, and she always claimed that she had no family, and they were married for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. But he was really close to to his sister's family, the Terraces, this one gal, and all of their kids. So she's in a lot of their paintings, their second home, their summer home. So he painted a lot of his sister's side of the family. And when his wife died, any notaire had to do a research, and he had signed a paper saying that, I can't remember anyway, he signed a paper to notaires. And when they found out that she had a sister that had 2 daughters with an Englishman, so there was 2 inherited people in England, and the fact that he had signed a paper which now made it illegal, they were to get everything. I mean, everything.
Wow.
And the Terraces would get nothing. So anyway, it didn't work out that way, and the way it got twisted back is a whole nother story, which I won't get into today, but I've had fun reading up on all of this, because it leads us to another American who owns racehorses between France and the United States, and has been in court with Sarkozy and Worth, and so it's really become kind of this interesting scenario. I could, there's a book.
It's true that the succession or the inheritance laws in France are they're different than in America. You can't write somebody out of your will. You have to give them something.
Well, we might want to take, if anybody listening is interested, because I just spent the whole morning with my girlfriend at her notaire's office because her husband passed away. In fact, you and I both have an experience with suicide, very close relation. And had she not done a paper with her husband, his kids would get 75% of everything that she has right now, and she'd have to sell her house. They could claim it right now. So, there are some loopholes that Americans or anybody outside of a French person should be aware of.
Yes.
It would be like something happened to Mary France. Her mom and dad would get half. They could make you move out.
Yeah, I know. We talked to a notaire about that. We actually talked to a notaire.
So there are things that people should know about, because it's really easy to do certain papers.
It is. It is. You definitely go to the notaire, which is like a notary, but it's not really. Kind of like a lawyer, but it's not really.
Right. Well, it's we have notaries in the States, but they have a different position than a notary.
Different position, yeah. It's more of a lawyer type. It is.
It's in between, because they do deeds and acts, and they can, address a situation like this without going to a lawyer. In fact, they would be the ones to do it.
They would be the ones to do it.
Yeah, but we could get into that, because I was so amazed. We could get into that in the
future. That'd be a good idea.
I was so amazed that all of a sudden these 2 English girls who'd never even heard of Pierre Bonnard almost got his full and total collection. Wow.
Pretty amazing. All right.
Yeah. So we'll do that in the future.
Very good, Jen.
And I wanted to talk about food trucks and sandwiches, jambon beurre, but I think we'll do that next week.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll bring it in.
Okay. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.